So it's really simple when it comes down to it. I think that 150 to 200 minutes of zone 2 cardio plus 3 or 4 days of resistance training at 5 to 6 sets per muscle group to maintain. And they should be hard sets. You should have a hard time finishing the final repetitions. But, and I'm sure there are other tools out there. The stretching thing is interesting. I've been looking a lot into stretching and flexibility. It's not clear that our mobility is as related to stretching as we once thought. And here, Kelly Starrett would be a better person to talk to about that. It's the ready state. He's really the expert on this. But
where's he based?
He's in the Bay Area. He's in San Rafael. The ready state is his thing. He wrote the book Supple Leopard. But a lot of ability to move limbs in a supple way and to have a broad dynamic range of movement or generate ballistic movements or endurance type training and all the different types of movement. A lot of that depends on your ability to engage or relax the firing of neurons that control different muscles. So if you think about, this is an interesting example that Kelly told me about. For instance, most people can't do the splits. I certainly can't do the splits, but I can put a leg up on a table at a 90-degree angle, one leg at a time. Well, the reason you can't do both at the same time when you're just sitting on the floor completely supported is because it's a fear-based mechanism and a reflex where one set of neurons activated inhibits the other. And so a lot of learning to do the splits is not about becoming more flexible, but learning how to disengage those inhibitory mechanisms.
Isn't that interesting?
Right. You always think of the muscles and the tendons getting more bendy, but it's actually a neural mechanism. There are other aspects to it. I mean, you can make connective tissue more pliable, but the idea that you're becoming more flexible isn't really the case. Is all those mechanisms were already there. It's neural, and it's neural inhibition it's a letting go. Now, hopefully people won't be tearing any groin muscles and trying to just let go. That's a skill. I can't do it. So I think that we sort of gone down the path of exercise, but I find it really interesting that most of the signals from exercise that create positive effects on cardiovascular function, on brain function, those are all mediated through the nervous system. It's not mediated through some magical increase in some mystery molecule. It's that the nervous system is saying, hey, you need to pick up heavy objects 3-4 times a week, or what are heavy for one particular person, right? And generate 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 repetitions of that. The neurons in those upper motor neurons, therefore, stay healthy because they have to engage the lower motor neurons in order to generate grip strength and engage the posterior anterior chain in the right sequence. It shouldn't come as a surprise, but I think a lot of people are surprised by that. They think that the muscle part is a kind of a dumb mechanism, but there are these interactions between brain and body. I think when we think of somebody or people who are very focused on exercise but don't seem as cognitively enhanced as they do physically enhanced, let's say, I think that's probably just where they're spending their time. And sometimes these people can be quite smart. But yes, we have these kind of preconditioned reflexes.
Yeah. I want to talk about Ronda Rousey. Actually, I watched a documentary. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. UFC.
I know who she is. Yeah. I don't know her, and I know that she was a judo champion before she was an MMA champion. I know very little.
I know very little as well. But you mentioned judo. But before I go there, just to tie off on that. I think some people listening might be questioning their coffee in bed now.
Well, it depends on how long you stay in bed. I mean, and listen, the 90 to 120 minutes, you can ratchet toward that. You can try and push it out 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It is important to hydrate early in the day too. Caffeine is very dehydrating. It causes for various reasons related to its effects on the kidneys. You start to excrete sodium and potassium and the electrolytes. And those, the action potential, the firing of neurons that we were talking about earlier, is mediated by the entry of sodium into the nerve cells. And to some extent, the exit of potassium. It's a coordinated dance there. You need electrolytes for your nerve cells to fire. So when you're dehydrated, you can't think as well. You can't function as well at the neuromuscular junction. So the first thing I do when I wake up is drink water. I mean, you should hydrate first thing in the morning. Obviously, you should use the bathroom too if you need to do that. But then push out that caffeine intake a little bit. And it's a little uncomfortable at first, but and some people don't experience an afternoon crash, or people that are going back for more caffeine in the afternoon, they often find that they can drop or halve the amount of caffeine that they're drinking in the afternoon, which then has a nice cascade on the sleep system and the ability to fall asleep.